tyrants want slaves? Why do evil men want slaves? Because they can steal the wealth that is produced by their labors. You understand? Money, we have to ask ourselves fundamentally why money was invented. It was invented by evil men for evil purposes. It's not merely some innocent, innocuous, sophisticated form of barter. That's a bunch of BS. Okay. And, I like to go into discussions discussing this stuff. The purpose, nature, and the invention, the advent of money and all its sundry forms and manifestations, incarnations, okay, of highly fungible assets. I mean, if it can be exchanged for something where they value it in dollars, you understand, immediately, it's like a spot price for metals or something like that, then you understand it's all money, dollars, and it controls every facet of our lives. I mean, our lives basically revolve around making money and paying bills. And it's sick. I mean, of course, we're all money lovers. We're not going to lie to God. Our hearts are all impure. We're all, to some degree, money lovers. Hopefully, less more than a lot, because when you love money a lot, some people are willing to compromise their conscience. Just slice a piece off, say, well, I'll listen to the rest of my conscience, but that's gone because I just, it's every man for himself now. I see the writing on the wall. It's dog eat dog, and it's a rat race. It's social Darwinism on mutant steroids, but, get with the program. I'm young and strong, and I can crack this nut that keeps getting harder and harder to crack, and I can't worry about the weaker ones out there. And I can keep reaching this bar because I'm young and strong, and so I'm going to, not going to say nothing every time my bills go up. I'm not going to be the squeaky wheel trying to get grease. Oh no, I can do this thing. I can do it. You see what I mean? I mean, they got us all trained very well. So this problem has inertia. It doesn't want to move. It has momentum. It's got legs. It wants to keep on trucking in this trajectory toward death and destruction for the masses. And that's the aim. That's the end that's the goal. That is the end game for these people. Remember, the Georgia Guidestones. Look it up for yourself. They want to get the earth down to 500 million and maintain it there. So I'm not some conspiracy nut making stuff up. Oh no, my friends. No, this is serious beeswax. Let me tell you, we're like I said, it's a juggernaut of pure evil genius, and all us innocent, righteous people, we gotta repent. We gotta say, God help us, and we're gonna have to rely on God. We need God's help. Whatever's got to happen in this change of the ages, okay, the end of one age and the beginning of a new one is going to be monumental like never before in history. Like I said, it's an unprecedented, all of human history sea change that's about to take place. The freaking end of a whole age, man. This is the age of the money-loving Satanists is coming to an end. All this artificial, invented, unnecessary human suffering is coming to an end. Thank God. Thank God. Okay, and we're a part of something big. Things are changing. Okay, the information of the ages, which is power, right, is at all of our fingertips. We're all without excuse for learning this stuff and remaining ignorant. So you are willfully stupid. You are willfully ignorant if you don't learn the facts. So don't believe me. Check everything I say out, either in the Bible, look up Georgia Guidestones and these elitists, the Bilderberger Group, this New World Order cabal, and what their aims are. They come across like they're, the benevolent ones, the ultra, I'm going to save the planet. It's the greater good. It's all logical and reasonable. What are you, some a-hole that wants to destroy the planet? Well, they've got the carbon footprint of 100 men, 200 men, 1,000 men. And they're telling you and I, well, you're bad for driving a car, heating and cooling your house, and taking a trip. Oh, no, hey, you got a carbon footprint, and you're an enemy of the earth. So in order to save the planet, the greater good, we've got to get rid of you. You understand? So we know this is planned austerity. Yeah, we say this is the reason, because if everybody is prosperous and rich out there, okay, they're going to be all driving Hummers and having private jets and taking cruises, and their carbon footprint will grow. But we're not even in that conversation, which could be seen as reasonable, I suppose, to some people. But, won't you want to put a bullet in your brain first and say, well, this is terrible. We're overpopulated. I got to kill myself. I mean, logically, wouldn't that be what you do? Okay. But they won't even inject in the conversation, the weather change, climate change, and all that. They bring that in. save the planet. That's the whole pretense, the pretext. But they won't bring into that conversation the mainstream media, the mass media, chemtrailing and weather modification programs that have been going on for decades. Because they don't want to take the blame. They want to caught hold in the bag for climate change. Yeah, we're spraying the earth with essentially what amounts to what's this explosive? The one they say they used and they found traces of at the World Trade Center. I can't remember the name of it, but very incendiary compound, and it's a lot of aluminum is part of this aluminum dust, aluminum powder, and that's one of the key ingredients in this chemtrailing program. The idea is, well, we're going to reflect the sun back on itself. We got to spray the sky, but all that's just falling to the ground, and it falls into these piles from the pine trees, like here in Paradise nearby. What happened there recently, last year? What's the year before now? But what happened there? This product is in the pine needles. You can imagine you get the wind blowing, and one little spark. I mean, and that's what we are. We're one spark. We can affect a lot. Look what one little spark could do. Burns down the whole town, kills all these people. So you are powerful as an individual. You're a god, and you have power. Just do something. I mean, it's a chain reaction. One person hears you, and that wisdom, that knowledge, it seeps in, it grows. It's a spark that ignites a fuse and a spark in somebody else, and then they ignite it. So we're all God's kids, and we're all very powerful, and we've all got a role to play in this. Do what God puts on your heart, that he says, listen, this is something, you just speak out. Have right thoughts, pray about this, and come to me for your opinions on controversial issues, and you'll have the right opinions. Go with God. Go with humanity. Go with life. Okay, and you'll get it. But these people want to inject in this conversation planned obsolescence. I mean, that's got to be polluting, stuff that's made to break. And what do you do with it afterwards? It's got to go to some toxic site, if it's got switches and stuff that are toxic, and instead of not in the garbage, right? And then you got disruptive technology. Well, what's it disruptive to? Well, the profits for the oil companies. Yeah, you could have hydrogen on demand. Right now, today, this technology exists. You don't even have to drive around with a gas tank full of hydrogen like it's a big bomb. You just put this little unit under your hood and put gas and water in your gas tank, and then it converts it. And just on demand, it creates as much as you need. So that technology already exists, but they'll buy the invention, the oil companies, that, hey, that's disruptive technology. It's going to disrupt our profits, and we got a lot of shareholders to please, and et cetera, right? Jobs and all this. So, it's sick and twisted. So buy the invent, put it on the shelf, and don't use it. That's it. We own the trademark, the patent, and the technology. Don't even look at it. You understand how this thing works? And then so many of the jobs in society revolve around the problem persisting. And God forbid if their problem ever went away of desperate poverty, because it's the biggest driver in society of the crime, the abortions, just think of all the people that are employed in these fields. It's the biggest driver of the need for a social welfare industry. So that goes if you're into desperate poverty. The money lending institutions, 25% of Americans, some 25% are employed in the financial services industry in some capacity. Do you understand all those jobs in the dubious war, where innocent men, women, and children are being maimed and killed every day? Okay, for business practice, it's just for profit. We got to be relevant. We got to start wars, or else you're going to cut funding. Say, well, we don't need you. There's no wars. There's peace on earth. You understand the problems we've got here with solving problems? The problem of desperate poverty is imperative to keep intact by these evil geniuses. This is it. And how do they do it? How do they steal the wealth? The Labor Department. You see how they're involved? You see how they're culpable in this thing? They could have prevented this just by giving realistic, just mathematic adjustments to the minimum wage workers. And the employers, Buck would have stopped there. They would have complained. No, I'm not going to have this. Why should my costs be going up? I want some progress. This is capitalism. Supply and demand. I want what happened to the VCR to happen. I want my cost of living to go down. I want my housing costs to go down. I want my water costs to go down, my energy costs to go down. I want my food costs to go. I want everything to go down. I want everything to be cheaper, so my money is worth more and more. Yes, that's progress according to capitalism. And any form of good socialism, that's the same principle, basically. You could do things one way or the other way. But if it all comes out the same and everybody turns out to be prosperous, and in that sense we all have a degree of equality, it doesn't mean we're all the same measure of wealth. Doesn't Who cares? Because once you're rich, you don't even care. Why do I need to have more? I don't need that. I mean, I got plenty. I'm satisfied. I'd be greedy. I'd be filled with avarice. Why should I, not just be happy? I'd be insatiable. I want to be satiated. I want to be satisfied. So, logical people say, no, I got enough. I'm having fun. I'm fine. So that's what would happen, and that's the last thing the evildoers want. Do you understand how that could have happened if they had just kept the minimum wage intact? That's all it would have been needed. Your money would have steadily gone up in worth, just gradually, slowly. That's progress according to capitalism. Supply and demand, free market principles, and even socialism. You would have the same effect under any good socialistic policy that actually worked. I say do a UBI, Universal Basic Income, and just tax Wall Street, a Tobin tax. And it's all going to go full circle. I mean, if I could get the Chamber of Commerce on board, with this idea, don't you understand how good that'd be for business in your community? If people suddenly didn't have money to fix their car, suddenly they had money. It was just an extension of Social Security. So it's not that radical. I mean, anything to thwart the evildoers. I don't like giveaway programs any more than the next guy. Yeah, I just like slow, gradual process. I'm willing to play this game, but by rules that apply to everybody, not selectively, and then exclude other people. Okay, I don't want a rising tide of prosperity that lifts some ships to the highest heaven while swamping other ships. Even if those ships being swamped aren't mine, I care about human beings because I have a conscience I value. And I got to answer to God for being a pissant if I don't care about other people. And everybody's got to see it that way. You got to, see other people's welfare entangled in your own. It's inextricable. It's the way God made it. It's a failsafe. Like it or not, tough. Accept it. That's just the way it is, baby. So anyhow, I think I beat this horse to death, and yeah, we lost America at the assassination of JFK, and we've just been frogs in a pot. We're finally cooked, and they don't know what to do with us because we're waking up. We're getting empowered with all the knowledge, the internet at our fingertips. And you know what's worse about it? They want to, and now, with inflation, they want to right away blame the minimum wage workers when your hamburger goes up. Those greedy minimum wage workers are the cause of inflation. Instead of, they want to confuse the issue. Oh, it's a question of what came first, the chicken or the egg. No. Your cost of living went up first. That was the justification. That was the basis for giving you a cost of living adjustment upward. Otherwise, it could go down. Minimum wage today could be 50 cents an hour, but have greater buying power than at the inception of minimum wage. And the standard of living you enjoyed then, you would have been able to enjoy a greater standard of living, and your 50 cents would have a greater buying power than, let's say, the dollar an hour back then. That's progress. That's what should have happened. You understand? I know what I'm talking about. So, anyhow, we're all money lovers to a greater or lesser degree, and just, in a purportedly progressively more civilized society, we've got to ask what we can do about our situation, and that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to enlighten people and tell you what you can do and what we can't do. What we've got to really, at the end, we all need God. Fundamentally, that's it. We've got to invite God in to help us, to strengthen us, to give us a wherewithal to cope and contend one day at a time with evil people. If you're a righteous human being, you need to be strong in the Lord, man, and just, God help me. God help me. And please, help me not to be evil. Reveal to me where I'm still evil, what I need to do to straighten out and fly right, to be found on the right side of history and in your loving graces at the end of the age and the beginning of the new age, when your will is established firmly upon the earth and the good is the rule of the day upon the earth. We live together in peace and harmony, safety, security, freedom, and prosperity for everybody. Never a dull moment, doing whatever we want anytime, only answerable to you, Lord God Almighty. Just having fun, just frolicking on your green earth as your beloved and loving children. Just having fun, man. Our work is fun now, God. We get it. Okay? And that's what's coming. So, take heart, my friends. If you're a good human being, good is coming to you. That's a promise from on high. That's a thus saith the Lord thing. But yeah, a universal basic income would one way to thwart these evildoers. At least give people enough, cradle to grave, to support their housing costs. Some modicum. I mean, it doesn't have to be elaborate, but let's give extra house wherever you want to live in the world. I mean, I don't care. Who cares? Why be a pissant? Jealous of other people, envious, resentful. I'm not. I don't want to be. I don't want people doing that to me. So don't do it to others. It's just the golden rule. So at least their housing and food and some energy needs and potable water needs and just the basics. Give everybody dignity. Why not? If the system still works and people keep serving one another, hell, I don't mind scrubbing toilets. Really, I don't. If we can get along, if we can fix our problems, I don't